If you've been told that the only thing standing between you and a six-figure bank account is not working hard enough or failing to wake up at 4 a.m. to scream at the sun, I have some rather expansive news for your ego. You've been lied to. In fact, for most of you, especially the deep-thinking introverts and the multi-passionate scanners, the grind is actually a trap. Forcing yourself to work 16-hour days while your brain is redlining on biological junk food is the fastest way to stay exactly as broke as you are right now. We've been raised in a culture that worships the hustle, but in the world of neuropsychology, we've discovered that wealth isn't built on willpower, it's built on dopamine arbitrage. If you don't solve the chemical leak in your skull, you aren't just losing an hour to TikTok, you are losing the compounding interest of your entire life's potential. You are trading your high-fidelity, M-shaped future for a blurred, low-resolution existence where you're too fried to spot a real opportunity even if it slapped you in the face. Welcome to Cognitive Blueprint. I'm not here to give you another cliché get-rich-quick speech. Today, we are going to bypass the motivational fluff and look at the actual physics of your gray matter. I'm going to decode the black box of why your brain is currently sabotaging your financial freedom, moving the conversation from shame to chemistry. I'm going to show you how cheap dopamine is acting as a literal tax on your IQ, keeping you in a state of survival mode while the people who understand this system are harvesting your attention for profit. The reason you failed to just do it or stay consistent with that business idea isn't that you lack grit, it's because you are operating on a broken reward architecture. For the introverted multitasker or the scanner brain who justifies their scrolling as market research for their 17 different hobby paths, the world is a non-stop biological heist. Every time you just check a notification, your amygdala, the brain's ancient smoke detector, sounds a silent alarm. It doesn't sense entertainment, it senses a high-stakes social safety check. Here is the financial paradox of the modern mind. The more you try to focus on making money, the faster you get exhausted. Why? Because your brain views the work, high-friction, delayed reward, as a threat to its immediate comfort. Meanwhile, it views the phone, low-friction, instant reward, as a survival necessity. For the scanner, this is particularly lethal. You think you're collecting data points for your next FAR transfer breakthrough, but neurologically, you are just a pigeon in a high-tech Skinner box, pecking at a glass screen for a random pellet of attention. You feel exhausted at 11 a.m. not because you've been productive, but because your prefrontal cortex, the expensive, high-maintenance CEO of your brain, has already spent its entire metabolic budget resisting the urge to check how many likes your last post got. You aren't lazy, you are cerebrally overdrawn. To understand this, we have to look inside the black box of the Dopamine See-Saw. Think of your brain like a high-end computer. Your intelligence is the processing power, but your working memory is the RAM. Most productivity advice focuses on the software, the lists, the apps, but your problem is the hardware, the chemistry. When you blast your system with cheap dopamine, unearned, erratic spikes from short-form videos or junk food, your brain triggers a process called down-regulation. Imagine your brain as a boardroom. Your prefrontal cortex is the CEO, trying to make long-term strategic decisions, but there's a vending machine in the corner, the dopamine source, that dispenses cheap hits for free. Every time a staff member, a neuron, gets a hit from the machine, they stop listening to the CEO. Eventually, the CEO is screaming in an empty room while the entire staff is passed out in a sugar crash. In neuropsychology, we call this a high need for cognition mismatch. You have the hardware of a polymath, but you're fueling it with the biological equivalent of high fructose corn syrup. The aha moment here is realizing that being broke is simply a symptom of chemical mismanagement. You have been trying to willpower your way out of a biological strike. You cannot out-hustle a brain that thinks survival means scrolling for 3 hours. The turning point is accepting that your willpower is a tragically finite battery, and you've been using it to power a vending machine instead of a rocket ship. So, if the CEO in your head is currently screaming into an empty room while the rest of your neural staff is passed out in a sugar crash, the question isn't, how do I get more willpower? It's, how do I stop the chemical strike and reclaim my cognitive capital? We need to move from being a user who is being harvested by an algorithm to being a neuro-architect who rigs the game in their own favor. The secret to ending the cycle of being broke and fried isn't to work 16 hours a day. It's to use a process I call the neural capital sequence. This is a tactical 10-minute biological protocol designed to bypass the vending machine in the corner and force your staff back to the boardroom. We are going to perform a literal arbitrage on your brain, trading the cheap, destructive hits for the expensive dopamine that fuels a high-output, M-shaped career. The sequence begins at minute 0 with what I call the Metabolic RAM Flush. Since we know your brain is currently cluttered with the residue of 1,000 shallow social pings, we have to provide it with what researchers call psychological closure. Grab a physical piece of paper and write down every unfinished task, every scanner project you're worried about, and every random idea currently leaking your mental energy. By externalizing these open loops, you are sending a biological signal to your prefrontal cortex that the data is safe. This instantly drops your extrinsic load, the mental noise that causes brain lag, and clears the buffer for actual processing power. You aren't just making a list, you are performing a high-speed factory reset on your focus. Once the RAM is flushed, we move into the 80-20 leverage phase from minute 2 to 5. This is where you use your scanner brain's greatest gift, far transfer. Instead of looking at your to-do list like a mountain of laundry, I want you to look at it like a chessboard. Ask yourself, which 20% of these tasks will generate 80% of my financial movement? If you have a dozen paths, you need to identify the one lead domino that makes the other 11 easier or irrelevant. By using your high IQ to find the shortcut rather than the struggle, you are rewarding your evolutionary drive for efficiency. You are moving from a reactive grind to a state of strategic integration. You are no longer a worker bee. You are the architect flipping the specific switches that light up the entire building. But wait, because between minutes 7 and 9, you are going to encounter the hidden obstacle, what I call the minute 8 poverty trap. This is the moment your brain realizes the cheap dopamine vending machine has been locked. You will feel a sudden, almost physical surge of boredom and restlessness. Your brain will try to convince you that just one quick check of your phone is necessary for your career. This is a biological trap. It is the sound of your neural receptors upregulating, building more antennae to catch the smaller, quieter signals of deep work. To bypass this, we use a physiological anchor, 2 deep inhales through the nose and 1 long, slow exhale through the mouth. This sends a direct signal to your vagus nerve to stop the stress response and initiate the release of anandamide, the bliss molecule that allows your brain to glide into a state of flow. Imagine your life 30 days from now. You are no longer the person trying to be successful while fighting a daily war against their own chemistry. You have become the master of the system. You wake up and your prefrontal cortex is clear because it isn't clogged with digital exhaust. You sit down to work on your primary pillar, and the real work feels as stimulating as a video game because you've recalibrated your reward threshold. You've shifted your identity from a distracted dabbler to an elite integrator. You realize that your curiosity, your scanner nature, isn't a liability that keeps you broke. It's a superpower that, when protected by a neural firewall, allows you to build a life of profound depth and financial leverage. The self-blame ends today. You weren't meant to be a cog in a machine. You were designed to be the bridge builder between different worlds of knowledge. To help you install this neural capital sequence and identify your specific cheap triggers, I've put together a resource called the Dopamine Arbitrage Blueprint. It's a minimalist PDF that maps out the exact RAM Flush scripts and leverage formulas for your specific brain type. You can grab it at the link below. I want to hear from you in the comments. What is the most expensive goal you are officially funding with your reclaimed focus today? Let's dismantle those shallow simulations together. And if you're ready to see how this reclaimed brain handles the most wicked career environments of the future, you need to watch our next video on the 10-minute flow launch, where we take this quiet mind and turn it into a high-output engine. Reclaim your capital. Build the bridge. You are watching Cognitive Blueprint.